starts out real fun, and then you realize that's your life's work.
This was not supposed to happen. Whoa.
The stunt people thought, we need to set you on fire so you're used to this. Now, wait a second. I ain't setting myself on fire.
See, there's a price you pay for being a wrestler.
I was grateful when he stayed away.
To get to the top, you have to sacrifice.
You pull back that curtain, hear the real story.
China was unlike anything I'd ever seen before.
WWE gave me something to live for.
What we did brought people together.
It was bigger than I ever dreamed it would be.
WWE Legends, new episode, tonight at 8. Part of WWE Superstar Sunday on A&E.
What's going on, everybody? It's me, WWE Hall of Famer Booker T, and wow, Superstar Sunday is going to be a legendary night for the WWE Universe. It returns tonight on A&E, immediately following this conversation. And those are some iconic names listed for those legends for this season. NWO, Jake the Snake Roberts, China Kane, and one of my favorites, the Iron Sheik. And last but not least, the late, the great Dusty Rhodes, which brings me to my guest here today, the one and only 2023 Men's Royal Rumble winner, that man, Cody Rhodes. What's going on, Cody?
Oh man, I'm excited about all these legends we're talking about. I'm obviously excited about the fact that you brought up 2023 Royal Rumble winner yourself. The surprise in the Royal Rumble, it was amazing. San Antonio came unglued for it. I'm pumped.
Turning our attention to Dusty Rhodes, what made now the right time to tell a story, to the fans about, a man that I love so much, Dusty Rhodes?
I think right now is the perfect time just because, the irony of a Rhodes, of myself heading into WrestleMania with all the combative nature that we've had, the mutual nature we've had with WWE, but also the combative nature we've had. It's just coming up all roads lately. Everything that's been happening with me, I've been blessed, I've been lucky, but it's also the perfect time because now I'm back in the fold at WWE, and there's a part of his story that's really been kept hidden and for no reason. And there's a great part that's almost been revised, and this is the first opportunity here on A&E to let people know the full story, including the last chapter of his career, that being at NXT, and how his footprints are all over modern day sports entertainment, modern day wrestling. I just want people to know the complete picture of a wonderful human being, but also someone who worked up until his last day on earth for this industry.
Dusty had so many iconic moments in his legendary career. Looking back, what perhaps was one of your personal favorites?
Personal favorite, I kind of rank it amongst my favorite matches of all time. A personal favorite for me was I got to watch, I think it's Clash of the Champions 2, Night Center, Miami. It's him, the American Dream, Dusty Rhodes, in Florida, in Miami, which Dusty in Florida, it was a different scene than Dusty everywhere else. There was an energy in Florida that was unlike anywhere else with the American Dream, but he's teaming with a young Sting, and he's teaming up against the Horsemen, against Tully and Arn Anderson. And that's my demographic. That was my youth in terms of your Shawn Michaels, your Stings, those type individuals. And to see what the quote unquote rub is in pro wrestling, the veteran giving this young up and comer that moment and that interest and that investment, it's amazing because you can see the crowd there in Florida, and they loved Dusty so much. But then also you see the younger fans in the crowd who are painting their face a little bit. And it's just a prime example, like a case study of what we're supposed to do. The wheel keeps on turning, and you've got to pass the torch. And the way it works in the industry, as you know, you and I have wrestled, you don't just pass that torch. There's a whole process to it. There's a whole struggle to it. There's a proving ground. And it was just a great memory because I think people think Dusty as the booker, as the champ. They don't remember always the things he did for other wrestlers up and coming and other talents. And that's just one of my favorite matches that's out there.
Dusty described himself as 287 pounds of sweet blue-eyed soul. I love that, man. I love what he said there. Words of wisdom, what words of wisdom you remember from your father that he gave you?
Oof. There was Dusty Rhodes, and then there was Virgil Runnels, but there was a lot of Dusty Rhodes around all the time, especially when he was coaching our football team when I was in junior high, because he was on still. He was preaching, he was performing as he was coming up with defensive schemes. I can't think of a day that went by that I didn't get some sort of words of wisdom. And one in particular is every now and then he'd ask me, what's it going to take? Hey, I want to get an A on this test. And he'd say, what's it going to take? Hey, I want to get my first interception at inside linebacker. What's it going to take? And the answer, which he never gave me until later, was all you got. That was always the answer he wanted back, was all you got. And I'm in this situation now where everything I want and everything I've wanted for so long in the industry is right here. But again, I'm thinking of Dusty saying, what's it going to take? And it is an absolute 100% all you got situation.
Wow. Dusty was known as the American dream. How did he embody, most that moniker, the American dream?
Well, and one thing that's really special going into the documentary, seeing some of his inspirations like Thunderbolt Patterson and Ali, and where in society he was able to kind of take inspiration. But I think Dusty, at the time when they say the American dream and him embodying it, it was really about unlikely individuals saying, I want to be this. And it was unlikely. If you looked at this plumber's son from Austin, who didn't have an Adonis-like physique, who talked with a lisp, who was, had osteomyelitis as a child and wasn't even supposed to be walking yet playing baseball, yet wrestling. If you look at somebody who just says, nope, I'm going to do that because this is America, where you can make that happen, where the dream can come true if you apply yourself and if you knock down every wall, every firewall that exists. And I think at the time, him winning the NWA championship, him against Ric Flair, that was definitive American dream. I may not look like the athlete of the day, as he said, but it doesn't mean I'm not. And I think that was inspiring for anyone around him who felt like, oh, maybe I don't check that box. Maybe I don't fill that spot. The American dream would tell you whatever spot you want, you can fill it. And I think that's what it meant to him.
Yeah. I always say preparation is the only luck you're ever going to have, How was your father so instrumental in, not just sports entertainment, but what the WWE is and what the WWE is today?
I'm so excited about people watching this documentary because one of the things they're going to dive into far more in depth than I can share here, but just a little taste of it, is that for a long time, it wasn't public knowledge how instrumental Dusty was in pay-per-view, in big events, in the spectacle. We look at the biggest spectacle that we can put on today, and that's WrestleMania, and it's as big as it can possibly get. But at the time that this was happening with Vince, it was also happening with Dusty Rhodes and Starrcade, and his saying, it's not just going to be territory anymore. It's not just going to be under the white spotlights. It's going to be a lighting red. It's going to be high production values. Dusty wanted to hold our industry to the same level of cinema. And he would say it, and he had to be it for it to actually happen. And you see a lot of that in the documentary. His eye for the big event, which today the big event is synonymous with what we do, working towards the big event, your goals at the big event, the calendar year starting at the big event. And that just, I'm glad to see him get his credit for being a big part of bringing big events to the sport. And in addition to that, the endless amount of people that he took a shot on, that he said, sure, I think you can make it. You may not look like you can make it right now, or you may not act like you can make it, but I think you can, are now people who are operating at the highest level in what we do.
Yeah. What did it mean to you to induct your father into WWE Hall of Fame 2007?
specifically Hall of Fame 2007, Fox Theater, Detroit. Place was packed. What I remember, I felt my responsibility was here's this master orator. Here's this man who spits fire when he comes. I mean, promos. Dusty Rhodes, Dusty Rhodes, Dusty Rhodes. Even as his youngest son, even as someone with no experience at the time, I have to deliver something up there. I have to give them a sermon for the master of all sermons. I can't lead in to the GOAT by just saying his name and he was a great dad. And that was the first big responsibility that WWE put on me. And I was so glad they did, because if people will tell you, hey, that was a great promo that night. And I always tell them it wasn't a promo. Talking about my dad. Nothing's easier than talking about the man who's responsible for all the best things that I do and the way I behave today.
You know, how did Dusty's legendary career inspire you on?
I mean, in a weird way, I'm inspired by the so few. I'm talking to one right now. So few of us get to the top, the actual top. So few. So a lot of people get to the middle. Even more people get to the lower card, but to the top. And you know that, having been to the top, that's inspiring, because the thing about being a second or third generation, you want to be like your dad or your mom, or you want to be like them. But the little secret you don't tell anybody is you want to be better. And that's how he would have wanted it. And that's why everything happening in my career right now is so unique, is because it's out of love that I'm trying to one up, in my opinion, the greatest, and that being my father. But that's the inspiration. Yeah, you were the best. You were the best, but it wouldn't be a bad thing if you were Cody's dad. I've been Dusty's son for a long time. It wouldn't be a bad thing if somebody up there told you, "Oh, you're Cody's dad," and I think he wouldn't mind that one bit.
You know, in addition to Dusty, we got a lot of legends, man, that we're definitely trying to immortalize, throughout the history and the annals of time, like the NWO, like Jake the Snake Roberts, like one of my all-time favorites, man, the Iron Sheik. Whose story are you most excited to hear told, and why?
Well, you mentioned one right there with Jake the Snake, because there's stories under the stories, and Jake being such a unique individual in the realm of sports entertainment. What A&E has done with the Legends is really unparalleled up to this point, and that's why I'm so excited for my dad to be covered in it. But one that I really am anxious to see and understand is I'd like to know a lot more about China. That's someone who also fingerprints all over the business today. Rhea Ripley, prime example. You're seeing a lot of influence in terms of China and what she brought to the industry as a whole, what she brought to the sport. And it's just a story that I don't know. So just as a consumer, someone who's curious about how that came to be, I'm very interested to see that. But the lineup that A&E has is the best of the best, really, and it's in the best season of our world. Just I've had a sneak peek at the American Dream documentary. I cannot wait to see what they've done with the others.
Man, you said it, man. There's a lot of great stories there to be told. And for me, and there again, the Iron Sheik, man. I don't know if you guys really know what this guy really went through, and the story that to be told as far as the Iron Sheik goes. Beating Hulk Hogan, that was a very, very small part of the Iron Sheik's legendary career. Right. The fans are going to be able to actually get up close and personal. And I'm going to tell you right now, when they see that story, they're going to go, wow. They're going to go, wow. Now it's time for the fun part. WWE on A&E fans, it's time for you to shine. We're going to be asking you to answer trivia questions about upcoming WWE Legends. And if you answer correctly, you might be in for a Superstar Sunday surprise. Everyone, are you ready? I'll start. Which superstar changed their persona and became the anti-hero against the NWO? Was it Hulk Hogan, Kevin Nash, Scott Hall, or Sting? The answer would be Sting.
In which year did Jake the Snake Roberts win the NWA World Television Championship for the first time? 1980, 1981, 1982, or was it 1983? The answer, 1983.
All right. China came to the WWE to fight, serving as the intimidating bodyguard to both blank and blank. Was it Stephanie McMahon and X-Pac? Was it Triple H, Shawn Michaels? Was it Shawn Michaels and Stephanie McMahon? Or was it Triple H and X-Pac? The answer, Triple H and Shawn Michaels.
After which event was Kane forced to unmask and reveal his face to the world? WrestleMania 19, Mask versus Championship match, Royal Rumble, or Title versus Mask match? The answer, Mask versus Championship match.
All right, here we go. Who did the Iron Sheik, my favorite, defeat to become the WWE champion in 1983? Would it be Bob Backlund, Hulk Hogan, Andre the Giant, or Sergeant Slaughter? The answer, Bob Backlund.
All right, next question. Dusty Rhodes was the son of was it an electrician? Was it a carpenter? Was it a plumber? Was it a CEO? Well, of course, the answer was a plumber. He was the son of a plumber.
And that's a wrap. And a very special thanks to my man, Cody Rhodes.
Thank you, T-Bug.
I want to thank all the fans for watching, and congratulations to those who answered our trivia questions correctly. Remember to tune in to all new episode of Biographies, WWE Legends, and WWE Rivals as part of WWE Superstar Sunday in just a few minutes on A&E. Don't forget, you can catch myself, Mick, and Lita during all new seasons of WWE Most Wanted Treasures on A&E. Make sure to follow at WWE on AE and use the hashtag WWE on AE while you're watching and join the conversation during tonight's premieres. Now, let's take a look at what's to come in just a few minutes on A&E.
Are you kidding me? Tonight, WWE Legends NWO.
It was too much for a lot of people.
And then
This started it all.
WWE Rivals.
They created something special.
It's all part of WWE Superstar Sunday. Returns tonight starting at 8, only on